start your own passive online income. Your online success starts now. Welcome to the Online Success Podcast with Michael Brown and Justin Lewis.
All right, and go ahead.
Welcome to another edition of the Online Success Podcast with Michael Brown and Justin Lewis. And today we've put together a really great episode for you. It's something we're really excited about and something Justin and I have been talking about for a long time. And first off, before we jump into it, Justin, good to have you here as always. It's been a kind of a long week, it feels like.
Yeah, we actually just recorded a podcast the other day too, so I'm glad we're actually committing to the podcast. That's the same thing as committing to your success. I mean, just the fact that we're continuing the podcast is a really huge thing, and you should take a note from just the podcast itself. Anyone out there listening?
Yeah, and it's something, I actually read something great about committing to your podcast today, so it's interesting that it's all, it's the theme is out there right now, so yeah, it's something when you're getting into this, no matter what you're getting into, if it's something new, if you're learning something new, you have to make the choice to commit, and you have to commit to achieve your success in whatever you're going into, and this is what I believe separates the people who win from the people who lose. So, and if you are watching this on the slide presentation, I have a note at the bottom of the screen that says some win and some lose. What's the difference? Well, that's what Justin and I are going to talk about today. We're going to talk about committing to your success, and that is what is going to be the difference. So let's just start. I want to pose a question to you. Could you lose weight by doing the following? Could you eat 5,000 calories a day, sit in a chair all day, eat just tons of junk food constantly, and then work out for 2 minutes a day to try to, work off the 5,000 calories? Okay,
I don't think so.
Yeah, and that's and that's my exact thought too. There's no freaking way you're going to be able to do that. But let me ask you this. So, do you believe that you can make a great consistent living online with barely working at it, not learning the proper methods to make money online or make consistent money online, maybe working at it for just 10, 15 minutes a day, and then constantly blowing off your training to do other things like watch TV? That's one of them. Video games, that's another one. You can put in 1,000 things right there. Justin, anything else you can think of on that one on TV?
Well, I would definitely say just going out and getting drunk with your friends, stuff like that. I know a lot of people that do it. So maybe not specifically in this that are trying to learn, but there are a lot of people out there that will just screw everything and just say, hey, I'm going to go hang out with my friends today. But then they go ahead and they do that every single day instead of actually trying to learn anything. And I mean, same thing with TV. I mean, there are a lot of people that immediately, let's say you have a job or something like that, and you go to work, you get off of work, and instead of like trying to do something that can progress you to get out of that job, a lot of people come home and immediately sit down in front of the TV, and that's it, and then go to sleep. And yeah, I definitely do not see how anybody could gain any type of success doing that type of thing.
Yeah, I always look at it as it's easier to kind of blow things off that are important.
Oh,
and
yeah.
We all want the reward at the end of the day, but it's the little things that get you to the reward that matter.
Yeah,
they're the things that add up.
And also, I think another really huge problem inside of our industry, so in the industry of teaching, so what Michael Brown and I do, I think the big thing there is that a lot of these really big gurus, I'm not going to mention any names, but they go out there and they say, hey, you can make $5,000 with 5 minutes of work. You can make $10,000 with the click of a button. Even the ones that say, hey, you can make $100 in 2 minutes of work. It's just a lot of them are really trying to push on that focus that you can work very little, like not at all really, and still make a lot of money. And I think the big reason there is because they've already learned a lot of the stuff too. So even if they are making a lot of money with very little effort, it's because they learned a crap load. They already have a list that they can launch out to, and they can post out all that. But it's all about the build up too. That's the most important thing there. So
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And I do agree too that there definitely needs to be accountability on both sides. So like,
yeah.
Justin and I, we teach this every day, to our students, and we take the accountability in the fact that we'll go in, we'll put out good training, and we'll help our students succeed while we look for the accountability factor that our students will pay attention, they'll actually do what we're teaching them to do, and put some time and effort into it.
Yeah, and
So,
it's
go ahead.
definitely really hard to get people to take action too. Um, I mean, even when I was first starting, the biggest thing for people is that they need to have motivation too. They need to stay, just like what we're talking about in this podcast. They need to stay committed to their actual success, and it really does rely on them. Now they can have people like us, training them and teaching them, but they really need to, to stay dedicated to all of this.
Yeah, so what Justin and I did is we put together a little presentation here we're going to go through that is going to help you stay committed to your success, and we're going to help you basically stop the insanity and commit to be awesome. So you're going to commit here to being awesome, being you, but going after your goals and achieving them. So let's go ahead and just dig right into this today. The first step to doing this, to achieving your own success, okay, not my success or Justin's or some guy down the street, your own success, is to create a short-term goal.
Mm-hmm.
And by a short-term goal, what I specifically look for isn't just the 1 week or 2 week goal, because here's what happens. If you make a really short goal, like 1 or 2 weeks, but you fail to make a kind of like a longer mid-range period goal, you might hit that first goal, but then you might not go back and complete it. You might not continue it.
Yep.
So don't make your goal so short in the beginning that it's like 2 weeks and it's to make $1. That might be a good one to start with, like, hey, I want to make my first $1, but set up a goal immediately after that to go after something a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
And the way I say to do this is stick with whatever your goal is. Make like a 3 to 6 month goal, and then every 3 months that you haven't hit that, keep revisiting that goal.
Mm-hmm.
Come back to it. So if you're not achieving it, come back.
Definitely, and I see a lot of people, what they end up doing is they set these goals, and this is a huge one too, like what you're talking about, Michael. Is there are people out there that will set goals, and then they'll achieve those goals, but they won't set any goals thereafter. And it's really, really important to continue to set goals. So let's just say you do reach that first $1, you reach that first $10, that first 100, that first 1,000. You need to continue past that. Don't just suddenly think, oh, well, now I made a bit of money online, so now I'm going to be, successful forever. The big thing there is that you need to continue to set goals, continue to stay committed to it, and stay committed to setting goals in general. So.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to in this kind of business. Just keep setting goals, achieve a goal, and even if you miss a goal, that's okay. I miss goals every year.
Oh, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. I hit goals too every year, but there are a lot of them I miss.
Yep.
I missed a lot of goals last year, and a lot of that was out of my control. But at the end of the day, I don't make excuses for it. I just look at it on paper and say, okay, I missed my goal. Let's retarget this goal and go back after it.
Yeah, and a big thing with Michael, didn't you have something going on with your wife last year?
Well, yeah,
I think it's still going on too.
Yeah, that's that's still going on. But yeah, that was a good 8 or 9 months of stuff going on. So that was just part of the whole equation. But we all have things like that in our lives that add up. So don't let that get you down. Just retarget, refocus on that goal, even if you don't achieve it. And there's nothing wrong with missing a goal. And I'm going to talk about failure coming up here in a minute. And there's nothing wrong with failing at a goal either. You're at least targeting and going after a goal. You should be proud of yourself.
Yeah, so and just to add on to that, like let's just say you are aiming for $100, and a lot of people set that type of goal, $100 or $1,000. Even if you only hit a percentage of that, that's still good. that means what you should do is just increase what you're currently doing and try and make more money. So let's say you do have a goal of $100 and you reach $80. You need to invest just a little bit more time. That's 20% from your goal. That's it. So just invest about 20% more of your time to try and reach that goal the next time around.
Yeah, great point, Justin. Great point. Just invest that time and come after it. So let's go on to the next step, which Justin just mentioned, time. And step 2 is just committing to the time itself, dedicating some of your time each day to do this, doing the tasks at hand. So if you're taking our training, if you're a niche optimizer and you're going through our training daily, that's good. You're already doing it. Make sure you're putting in, I like to say at least a half an hour a day. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there are going to be days where you can't put in any time, and that makes sense. We all have a lot of things going on. But on days where you can put in more than a half hour, that's even better. I have a little thing here that says more is better.
Yeah.
And, Justin, go ahead.
Yeah, and a comment on that, because we actually talked about it when we were putting the slide together. More is better is actually something I used to disagree with almost entirely, and I still somewhat do. But it's just because the phrase "more is better," a lot of people think that you need to just invest more time and you'll make more money. But really, when it comes down to it, when we say more is better, let's just say you put in 8 hours of time into this. A lot of people go out there, and even though they put 8 hours of time, they'll only actually work for 1 hour. So in that concept, more is not better. More is actually worse, because then you've got 7 hours of not doing anything at all.
Right.
But if you're putting, let's just say you are putting, 2 hours into this, like having a super day, an awesome day and everything, you're putting 2 hours into this, but you're actually working for those 2 hours. Well, now you've got 6 extra hours. I'm not saying, everyone has 8 hours to put into this, but now you've got 6 extra hours that you can either decide to do something else or continue to commit to this and invest more time into it.
Yeah, and this is something, it's like kicking the dead horse every time we talk about this, but, if you're getting interrupted, okay, Justin was just talking about having 8 hours of time and you're coming into it, but you really only get 1 hour in that's actually actively, whether you're learning or you're actively taking what we're teaching you and putting it to use. No matter which one you're doing, if you have your cell phone on, if you have Facebook on, Google+, you're getting phone calls, all that stuff adds up and eats into your time. And again, I know this is something that you guys have listened to other editions of our podcast. You probably know this is something I talk about a lot. But this actually is one of my biggest time killers. It's something I struggle with. And on days where I go, okay, I'm going to multitask and I'm going to leave my phone on because, this person needs to get a hold of me. I'm going to leave Facebook on because I'm waiting for someone to get back to me on there. I get a lot less done.
Yep.
Turn those things off, keep them off, have quiet time away from distractions. Okay. I know, again, it's something that I'm so repetitive on that, but trust me, no matter how good you become at doing all this and how skilled you are, that is always a time killer for every single person.
Yeah. And Michael, there are actually, like Google Chrome and Firefox extensions, so like add-ons for your browsers that can actually help you manage your time. And I'm using one right now where certain websites, like certain news websites that deal with politics, certain YouTube channels and stuff like that, what I do is I actually block myself from those after about 15 minutes throughout the day. So if I'm on that site for more than 15 minutes, it blocks me, and there's no way that I can get back to that website. That's something that I've personally done, and it helps me. But the big thing is you definitely need to manage your time, and you need to seriously have some quiet time and just time to commit strictly to this, and don't let anyone interfere with that time. Make it loud and clear to everyone around you. Say, I really need this time for myself because I'm trying to start something. I'm trying to get somewhere with my life. And if you do, it's going to seriously help you, and it's going to get you really far a lot faster with less distractions.
Hey, Justin, great point, but also give on the the podcast page for this edition, make sure we give them the link for that extension too. That way, anyone that wants that extension, because that's a pretty cool idea. I haven't used that before, but I know Justin and I have talked a lot about that. About how he uses that all the time. So definitely an interesting extension to look at.
I'll get both links ready up, and then when I actually post this the podcast page, the resource notes, I'll put that together and have links to it so that you guys know when you get to step 2, there will be links to the Chrome and Firefox extensions. So. And
great, that's great. Finally, with committing, so in step 2 here, with committing your time, don't just commit to the learning, make sure you commit to the tasks that we give you inside the course as well. Justin gives a lot of those away. A lot of challenges is what they are.
Yeah, the 5-minute challenge. I try to focus either on something like a 5-minute challenge, and when I say a 5-minute challenge, I don't always mean just put 5 minutes into it. What I'm trying to say is at least put 5 minutes a day into something. If you're not, you're going to fall off the horse. That's what's going to happen. But then I also have things that are actually like real challenges. So like a traffic challenge or a goal to meet. For example, trying to challenge yourself to reach 100 visitors a day to your website, for example. And a lot of people think that's really, really difficult. But if you just stay consistent and you commit and you actually try and build traffic every day, you put time into that, you're going to reach that goal a lot faster than those people that maybe put 2 hours in today and then don't work on it for a whole week.
Yeah, absolutely. You got to commit that time. Okay, so let's go on to step number 3, because this one is one that I think holds a lot of people back on a lot of different things. In fact, I have some things that I've worked through in even the recent past, things that I fear, and you can't let fear hold you back on building your online business. If you start letting fear hold you back and you're afraid to fail, okay, don't be afraid that you're going to completely fail, because it's okay to fail at some things at first. You're going to have that. But Justin put out a good point. We were talking about this earlier. Said don't aim for failure, though. Don't be afraid that you're going to fail. Put yourself out there to do something, and yes, it's possible. You can always fail at something at first, but if you're not aiming for failure, you're aiming to succeed, you can get through that fear.
Yes, and to add on to that, to add a quick note, when I was starting out, a big thing, I got onto Your Niche Blitzkrieg when I first started, Michael, and I'm so grateful for it, because that's the reason I am where I am today. It's the real reason why I stayed in this industry. Otherwise, I would have probably quit. There's so many scammers out there, so many people that are just trying to cheat you out and everything. But I'm really glad that I found your stuff when I was starting. But a big thing is one of my down moments is when I first started, I actually didn't read your course really. I kind of did. I kind of skipped it. I kind of skimmed over little bits and pieces. And that right there, that's aiming for failure. Because what's happening is, I invested all this time in the reading stuff, but I would skip over a paragraph. And that paragraph could have been some of the most important information throughout the entire course. Just by missing that little paragraph and everything, it could have been something really, really important that could have saved me a crap load of time.
Yeah, and it's easy too, when you come into a course, it's easy to be excited at first too. Or even not even just at first. It could be a whole year or two of excitement. And it's easy to skip over things when you're excited. You just want to do it, get to the task and go do the task. So that's definitely in there as well.
Yeah, a lot of people, I think, just feel doing the task itself is going to be the solution. But really, you have to learn. You have to learn about what you're doing, why you're doing it. And that's one thing that we actually teach inside the university too. So at nicheoptimizer.com is we talk about why you're doing something, what you're doing that for, how that's going to benefit you. And a lot of people, they don't view it that way. They kind of, I think one of the problems is, even when I started, I would just build random traffic. It didn't matter where it was from. It's just what I did, and that's a big reason is because I didn't actually listen to what you said.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds terrible, but I know there's other people out there that are probably possibly even doing the same thing. And if I would have just listened to what you said in the first place, oh my gosh, I would be so much further than I am right now. And it's already I'm in this for I think it's like past 3 years now, which is super crazy in my eyes.
But see, the thing is with failure, okay, so get rid of that fear when you come into something. So don't be afraid. You're going to grow your success. You can grow larger and larger into this. You're going to get more confident as you learn more things and as you're doing more things and seeing them work. And if you aren't seeing things work, you know what? Ask us. Ask us why. Show us an example of what's going on, and we'll look at that for you. That's what we're here for. But don't let the fear hold you back from success. And to help minimize your fear, invest a little bit of money into some training. Okay, again, we're partial to our training, which is nicheoptimizer.com, but it's only $37 a month, and the training there is all step by step, and we're right there with you every step of the way. So the reason I'm saying invest in something small like that is because I know there are a lot of things out there where they're $500, $600, $1,000 a course. Or a large seminar that you have to fly to, $1,500, $2,000, where you're investing a lot of money and your fear level goes way up because then you just invested $2,000 into something. You better hope that pays off.
Yep.
Where if you invest in something smaller, your fear level will be a lot lower. You're gonna feel less afraid about that. And I'm not saying $37 is just pocket change. I realize that's a lot of money, but it's also something that it's not $2,000 though.
Yeah, so, it's definitely not $2,000.
So the fear and commitment should feel a little bit lower. You shouldn't feel less committed to doing it in achieving your success. You should take that as a note that you have less fear, but your commitment level should still be whatever you would have put into, spending $2,000 on something.
Yep.
So that's just my take on fear. Don't be afraid to get in here and do this. We all have a little bit of fear when we do something new. The first time that Justin and I did the podcast, it was something new, even though
it was terrifying.
Even though we've spoken on several events, we've done several training videos, webinars. We were doing something brand new. We hadn't done it before. It was a new format. But we did it anyway with screw-ups and all. And then even in the last episode, I'm still talking about lotion and cinnamon spraying and bears. It's all that stuff comes out. But you get a little more comfortable as you keep doing these things. So, Justin and I are getting more comfortable doing the podcast, whereas, you as a student coming in, you can get more comfortable every day doing the tasks that are right there in front of you.
Absolutely. And great points, Michael.
So, Justin, why don't you talk about a little bit about declaring.
All right, so you're just going to throw this one on me?
Heck yeah, man. This is all you.
All right, so step four is really, declaring your goals. So declaring what you want to achieve, whether it be a small goal or a decently large goal. No matter what it is, if you tell other people, so for example, if you tell Michael and I inside of like the university forum at nicheoptimizer.com, if you tell us about that goal, then you're going to be more committed to it. You're going to say, well, now I have to try and achieve that goal. Now the thing is, though, is if you do not reach that goal, that's okay. We're still going to support you. We're going to try and help you. We're going to do everything we can to help you reach that goal. But if you tell us what your goal is, that's going to help us understand what your goal is. And it's also going to help you understand. It's going to be written down in a serious format where it's inside of text, or maybe even tell us inside of a video or something like that, whatever it may be. Just by announcing that, that's going to make you more committed to it. Also, let's just say you do join the university. Let's say you're already inside of the university. A big thing that you should do is you should add a profile image. So make sure people know who you are. So add a profile image or a gravatar, and then add something like an about me or introduce yourself. Tell people who you are, and those people are going to start becoming your friends. And then they're going to help you stay committed to that goal. So no matter what that goal is, when you start getting friends, they're going to help you. And especially especially inside of our university, and you know this, Michael, when somebody lists a goal, everybody gets excited for that person. You know,
Yes.
when anybody achieves something, any goal, no matter what it is, people are like, "Oh my God, that's so cool," and everything.
And
You know,
and after all the people who have declared goals and who have stated goals and went after goals, no one has ever went back to that person and say, "Wow, you missed your goal. What is wrong with you?"
yep.
No one is going to do that to you. Um, but getting in, like Justin's saying though, communicating with people who are like-minded,
Hmm.
who are wanting to achieve something. It doesn't matter what level you are currently at. You can go in, you can talk to other people who want to do these things, because you're going to be going after the same goals. You're going to have a like mindset, and like Justin said, they're going to become your friends. And if you go into the forum, you go, man, I really need some help. Guess what? All these people that you're talking to, you're communicating with, that you're sharing ideas with, they're going to be there supporting you, helping you out every step of the way.
Yep.
And I can't tell you how many times that even students have thrown out some really great ideas that I've been able to use.
Oh yeah, heck
It's
yeah,
something
dude.
that you're never at a level where people are beneath you or anything like that. You
Hmm.
never get to a point like that.
Everyone has something to share, no matter what it may be. Everybody has something, and I mean, just like with what Michael said, there are people that come into the university, or just people that we meet in general, that maybe have not achieved like what they consider great success, but there are certain things that they've done that we've never been able to achieve.
Yep.
And by doing that, if you share those things with us and stuff, that's also going to help you, because then we're going to be like, oh, and we're going to learn about that. And then we're going to give you our insight into that and our thoughts on that as well. So definitely, everybody has something to share. And when you tell other people about your goals, just sharing your goals in general is going to get other people excited about that. And then it's also going to help them create their own goals.
Absolutely. So declare your goals and go after them. Okay, and don't be afraid to publicly state some of your goals. You don't have to state them all. You don't have to tell people your ultimate goal, but you're more than welcome to tell us. We'll listen.
Hmm.
Just do it, and it'll make you strive for it more, because then it's out there. Then you've made a statement. I'm doing this.
Absolutely.
Okay, step 5 is to have fun. I can't stress that enough. If you absolutely hate something, like I can't imagine doing something that I absolutely hate, because I did it for 10 years. When I worked back in the drugstore days, I remember near the end, it got to a point where I freaking hated it. I mean, I didn't even want to get out of bed, drive there. Of course, getting out of bed at the time, my son was just born, so it was like some days I had like an hour of sleep, so I really didn't want to get out of bed. But make what you're doing fun. So don't turn this into work. Don't turn this into pain, and things like that. Have fun while, whether you're learning or you're doing the things that we're teaching you to do.
Hmm.
Have fun doing it.
And I'll give my advice on this. When it actually comes to doing, one of the things that keeps me committed and dedicated to what I'm doing at that time, for one, I set a timer, but I don't always do that. Sometimes I actually play music, and a lot of music out there, it lasts for about 4 minutes or 5 minutes. So, and it doesn't have to be a song where it has, words and all that. It can just be something that has background music. And let's say that song is 4 minutes. I'll try and achieve maybe a small task. It doesn't have to be anything huge. Maybe it can be answering a question on Yahoo Answers, or maybe posting on a forum, and just listening to the music as I'm actually working, as I'm doing. And I find that really, really helps me. And it's something that you can't do at a regular job. You can't go out there, at most jobs anyways, you can't go out there and just listen to music the entire time. You can't do these things that you enjoy. You can't personalize your experience as much. Another thing I do personally, and this sounds really weird to a lot of people, but I enjoy it, is I wear a backpack. And I know that sounds, kind of weird and like, what the heck, why is he wearing a backpack? But I just feel comfortable with it. I feel comfortable wearing a backpack, and when you're working, you can do whatever you want. You could sit in your pajamas and work if you wanted to. You don't have to be in a suit and tie. And it's just, I think that's really, really awesome to be able to do that type of stuff. and enjoy what you're doing rather than kind of living a dream that is someone else's dream in a sense.
Yeah, that's a great point. Some people might think the backpack thing is weird. I mean, I remember I saw you on video like what was it, a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, what are you wearing?
It makes me feel comfortable, and Michael, you haven't even seen me that much on video in person. Like on the podcast, I think I've been wearing the backpack almost every single time. But it's just I feel comfortable with it. It makes me feel in a good mood, I guess. However I could phrase that, I don't know.
Then that's fine. And I'm not making fun of the backpack at all. I actually like it. I mean, if it makes you feel more comfortable, that's a good thing to do. So, if any of you are out there listening to this and you're wearing a backpack as well, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm not downing Justin's backpack here. But I did ask him. I flat out was like, "What are you wearing, man? Like, I don't even know what that is."
It looks like I'm wearing a seatbelt.
Yeah, from here because all I could see were the straps, so I didn't know what was on the back. I'm like, why are you wearing just straps? What are you holding? But so anyway, if you get frustrated at all, you're not having fun for whatever reason, you're stuck. Ask us for help. Okay, so if you are getting frustrated and you're just not enjoying what you're doing, ask us for help, because usually what I find people get frustrated with, it's not the actual doing, the learning or the doing of things, it's the technical stuff that can be confusing.
Yeah.
And there are some things that you'll look at and you'll be like, wow, I'm looking at all this stuff, I don't even know what these are. Well, in the course, Justin and I break that all down for you, but even if you're not in the course, you might look at something and go, wow, I'm confused there. Well, just ask about it, because we don't want you frustrated. We want you to be able to have fun. And we both, Justin and I both have been there where you're learning something, where you're learning this stuff, and it's nice to be able to have an explanation.
Yeah, and Michael, I wanted to add something on to the last step, and this is just the pretty much my last big note. Mm-hmm. Having a community, one of the big things is, there are a lot of communities out there where you have, like the Warrior Forum and Digital Point, and things like that. So lots of big forums and all that. But the problem is there's just so many people, and you can't really just build relationships with everybody. Inside of the university, for example, one of the great things is that we really get to know you, and you really, really get to know us. And in doing so, you can act however you want to act. You don't have to act super professional all the time when talking to us.
Yeah, and in fact, I'd wager to say we're not really inside the forum. I mean, we joke around and have a good time. So it's, what we take it seriously too. We know you're there to learn. We're there to teach, and the other students are there to learn and help and get help from other people too. So it's like a whole community of people giving back and helping each other.
Yeah,
I absolutely agree.
Totally just enjoy it. And, by having a small community, I find it's much more enjoyable, because then you actually get to know the people. And let's just say you join or you're already a member and you share something, to know that, someone that you've talked to before is actually going to look at that, and then they're going to, give feedback on it, or they may even try it. That's really exciting. Versus just some random stranger out there looking at it. It's really, really cool to have a dedicated community that's going to push you, because these people get to know you. They know your fears. They know who you are as a person. And that's the wonderful thing about the university, and I really do love that, to be able to have a dedicated small community. And not saying we'll always be small, but we're never going to try and get too huge with too many people. And if we do, right, that's something where we're always going to be there anyways. So
yeah, it would be accommodated, but it would be, we'll get there. But it's one of those things that join up early, learn it, grow. Again, we're not pushing you into it. If you, like I said, if you're not a member, you can still ask us questions.
Oh yeah.
So it's one of those things. But have fun. Just have fun with this. Don't take yourself seriously. Take the stuff that you're doing seriously, though.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's just do a quick recap. Okay, so create a short-term goal. Commit to both time for training and for doing. So commit both time frames. So commit a little bit of time each day to learn, and commit some time each day to perform tasks and to achieve things. So if you might take the training on building your website,
Mm-hmm.
learn, apply.
Yeah, and do it at the same time.
Yeah.
So
Do it. What works for you? Sorry, go ahead, Justin.
I was just I was just gonna say, like what I did when I actually did it right, when I when I first started, the big thing is, I went through this stuff I didn't do. Instead, I kind of skimmed through everything, and then I just did, and it was terrible. But a great thing that you can do is, you can actually go through the training and do those specific steps at the same time, and then go back over the training and do it again, and you'll learn from that. You're going to learn so much great information. It's going to be amazing.
The next thing is, don't be afraid, and don't be afraid to fail, or don't be afraid to take a chance and commit some time to things. So don't be afraid all around. So again, that's just a critical one, because I know it's easy to be completely scared to try something new. Declare your goals. So state what your goals are. If you don't feel like doing it publicly to us, maybe in the forum or on the podcast page, tell someone in your family who's understanding and who isn't going to give you a hard time. Okay? So declare your goals. And then finally, if you just don't want to share them with anyone publicly, write them down at least.
It's funny. I was going to say that exact same thing. I was going to stop you, and I was going to repeat that. That's crazy.
I can read minds, but so state your goals, declare them, get them written down, just get them out in the open.
Mm-hmm.
Have fun doing something that you love doing. So learn how to do this stuff. Learn to have fun with it, because it's not something that's extremely complex. Even though when you're first new to it, it can seem complex. Over a small period of time, you'll realize it's not complex. So just have fun while you're doing it. Don't turn it into work. Don't get up every day and feel like, I got to go get this done. This is going to be miserable.
Yeah.
Because if you start doing that, it's work.
And make sure to go into a niche that you love. I didn't even think about that one. It's really important to, if you want to have fun doing it, make sure you know what you're talking about. Don't just go out there and go after a niche that you have no interest in. There are some things that other people might find really boring that I might find really interesting. And same thing with you guys. You might find something really, really exciting, and I might find that kind of boring. But the point is, do something that you feel is fun. Go after a niche that you love, that maybe a hobby or something like that. So.
Yeah, and that brings you a good point up. I've had people before, who come to me and go, I just want to get into the niche that makes me the most money.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, and I tell them too about this. I'm like, well, make sure you kind of lean towards liking the niche, because if you absolutely despise a niche market, and I've been in niche markets where I'm like, I hate this niche. And I learned really quick that I hate it. I let the niche go. I don't do as much with it as I could.
It starts feeling like a job, which is what you were ultimately trying to escape.
Right. And you got to go into something you love. Not every niche should be or needs to be something you absolutely love, but I would say the ones that you're going to do the most focus on should definitely be.
Yeah.
And finally, ask for help when you need it. Okay, don't let anything technical or the slight bit complex bog you down. Come in, ask for help with us. Join the community, be there, and ask questions. So you get stuck, you ask a question. We answer the question. We help you out. It's that simple. But ask, because most people are afraid to ask a question. Just ask a question. No one's going to laugh at you or think it's a dumb question, because there's not a dumb question in this kind of market.
Oh yeah, and oh my gosh, there are so many people that think they're asking dumb questions too. And when it comes down to it, everyone has to learn. Everyone has to start somewhere. Michael and I, when we first started, we asked questions. Everyone asks questions. It's a good thing to do. And let's just say you think your question is dumb. I bet you there's somebody out there that thought the same thing and they didn't ask it. And then when you ask that question and we answer it, somebody else is going to be like, oh, well, I didn't know that.
But the person who did that had to wait longer to get their question because they didn't want to ask. So they might have waited a month to get a question answered because of that.
Yep.
Where if you have the question, you put it out there, we answer almost everything within 24 hours. So I barely ever see anything go over that.
I don't even know if I've ever seen anything go over that, really.
I don't think so. I think
except for maybe the weekend, in certain weekends or something like that. But really, we're in there every day, all day. So
yeah. So don't be afraid to ask, and you'll get that question answered.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so let's give you out some resources here. Justin, you want to go ahead and give out the resources?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and do that because after we record this podcast, I'm actually going to set up these pages, or this page specifically. So this was episode 9 of the Online Success Podcast. And if you want to check out all of the show notes, so for example, we mentioned certain things inside of this podcast, like extensions and stuff like that. If you want to find all of these show notes, go to www.nicheoptimizer.com/OSP9. And you can also just go to the overall podcast page, which is nicheoptimizer.com/podcast. And we try to make that as easy as we can for you so that no matter what, you can easily access every episode and the full list of all of the episodes we've recorded in the past and the ones in the future. And lastly, we have step-by-step training, and if you want to access all of that, we've got a lot of really, really great information inside of Niche Optimizer University, and you can go there. You can join at www.nicheoptimizer.com.
Awesome, man! It's hard to believe that we've made it through 9 podcasts.
Oh, it's exciting!
So,
next episode is going to be episode 10.
Yeah, so we're really moving along with the podcast. So. It's something that Justin and I are committed to, and we're happy to keep sharing these with you guys. So,
you know what, Michael? Really quick.
Yeah, sure.
Since episode 10 is going to be next, let's give away something for free.
Okay.
So let's leave that for people to guess, and let's announce that in the actual episode 10 of the Online Success Podcast.
Yeah, and if you guys have any ideas what you'd like for free. As long as it's not too crazy, put it in the comment box over at the episode 9 podcast and let us know what you guys think. But yeah, we can come up with something to give away free.
Yeah, I think that'll be really cool because that's 10 episodes of these guys sticking with us. So
yeah. So we just want to thank you guys again. I'm Michael Brown, and as always, Justin Lewis with us, and always yet again. We're stuck together on this. No, it's a great thing. So it's something that I know we've got a lot of good positive feedback from people on. So,
and just so everybody knows that's actually listening to the podcast through like iTunes or whatever. Again, Michael put my name in pink. Just so you know, so it's Justin Lewis, and I'm in the baby pink, and then he's in the baby blue yet again.
It's beautiful, but again, unashamed. I'm unashamed that I did that, and I know you're unashamed to have the baby pink.
Hey, pink is my favorite color.
Well, we want to thank you guys. We're going to let you go here, and we will see you in another episode. So thanks again, everyone.
Catch you in episode 10.